Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerdpocalypse Podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. Terrence is out this week because internet. All right, so we have plenty to talk about, so let's jump right into it. Did you watch Chainsaw Man?
Yes, I did watch Chainsaw Man. I don't even know why I'm talking about this because like you nor Terrence would watch it, but
what even is this?
It's an anime.
Oh,
and well, just Google Chainsaw Man so you can see what the main character looks like.
I got it.
It's a very cool looking design, which is why I decided, okay, I'm going to watch this. And
oh wait, that's a helmet?
So Chainsaw Man is the story of a teenage boy, because anime,
of course,
whose father was indebted to the mob. His father hung himself like the coward that he is, so his debt transferred to his teenage son. And the teenage son, in order to pay off the debt, first of all, he sold one of his eyes, he sold one of his testicles, and he sold most of his worldly possessions, right? Because like his dad is in debt to the mob for like gugobs of yen, right? And he is he's like poor and living in a shack, but in this world there are devils, demons,
of course.
And he befriended a demon, and he keeps it as a pet. The demon looks kind of like a potbelly pig with a chainsaw coming out the head of it, like a unicorn.
Sure.
And one day the mob tricks him. The kid dies, and his little demon pet decides that he is going to kind of sacrifice itself to merge with this kid's body. And then that kid becomes Chainsaw Man, a devil hunter, with a chainsaw coming out of his forehead and two chainsaws coming out of his arms. And I love it.
This is why I don't watch anime.
Yeah. I
Jay, why aren't you into anime? Go ahead and just rewind the last minute and a half of what Micah just said. It explains everything.
It's look, this is the kind of anime that I like.
This is ridiculous.
Everyone tries to get me to like, oh, you should watch My Hero Academia or, Naruto or shit like that. And that's all fine and good. But like, there are certain things in my anime that I like. I like action. I like gore, like bloody violence. I like monsters. And I like titties. All those things that are things that I like.
I mean, these are things I like in real movies as well.
Right.
It's just the animation that I don't like.
Yeah, which is weird because like you could do like wild things in animation, like have a character who has a chainsaw coming out of his fucking forehead. Yeah. And the pole start is like in his chest where his heart is.
All right.
It's so silly. It's so silly.
Wow.
But yeah, I love it. So watch Chainsaw Man. Look, I'm usually very late to the party when it comes to anime, right? Because like all the like real weebs, like I'm a half a weeb, right? Like I appreciate the shit, but like all the real weebs have probably read the manga that this is based off of, so they already know about Chainsaw Man. But yeah, I dig it. So
okay, is this a new anime or has this kind of been around for a while?
No, it's new. And it, the only reason it's on my radar because I don't really pay attention to anime anymore. I just pay attention to what people that I trust, tell me to watch. Like Stage 5 Klinger, that guy. If he
that guy knows all about hot anime. I guarantee you. That does not shock me. He knows it all.
If he tells me to watch something, he knows my sensibilities. So, I'll probably give it a shot. But yeah, this was getting like mainstream. This was getting like reviews on like mainstream like genre sites. So I said, all right. Let me
I was going to say, don't say mainstream press. Don't do that.
No, man. No.
Don't do that.
IGN.
Okay, don't do that. Like, was Variety picking it up?
Deadline is really talking about
the good
Chainsaw
people at
Man.
Deadline. Hey guys, really go see Chainsaw Man. It's awesome. All right, so where can people find this? Is it on like Netflix or where?
You can watch it on Crunchyroll, or you can watch it on Hulu like a regular person.
Oh, okay.
And I watched it on Hulu.
All right. If I did you watch it today?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Okay. I was wondering why I got an email about a login. I was like, I didn't log in anymore. Okay, that makes sense. All right.
You know what? I would really like it. I would really like it if it's only 22 minutes.
I thought you were saying 22 episodes. I was like, you can like a lot of things.
It'll be 12 episodes, but it's only 22 minutes. I'm not asking you to commit to watching the series.
Thank you.
Especially because it is subbed, and I know how niggas like you don't like to read.
Hate reading.
But if you could watch the first episode of Chainsaw Man,
I will. I'll make that deal.
Please report back.
I will make that deal. I will watch one episode of Chainsaw Man. In exchange, I'm going to need you to start watching The Industry. That's my deal with you.
I will start watching Industry as soon as. See, I am a man of my word. You know, I will actually follow through.
You will.
I need you to watch Chainsaw Man first.
Okay, that's fair, because I am not a man of my word.
We'll see who has the better taste in television.
Yes. You know what? I put up The Industry versus Chainsaw Man any day. That's fair. That is totally fair. I'm willing to stake my reputation on it. That's really funny. I will check it out. It's on Hulu, you said, right? Okay. I'll make a note. I can spare 22 minutes tomorrow. So we did both watch Werewolf by Night. This is Marvel's Halloween special about the character Werewolf by Night. Look, I feel like they did a really good job of giving us something totally unique in the universe. I thought it was really cool. This is why I reject out of hand the idea that all the Marvel things are the same. There's a lot of things in the Marvel cinematic universe that are very much the same. That is absolutely true. More on that later. Quite literally, their latest show calls that out, and correctly. But this is very unique, and this was fun. Like if I had to give a criticism of it, I actually could have enjoyed it being longer, like an hour and a half. Like I think it kind of it could have been really fun. I mean, I think the 53 minutes or whatever it was tight, and it felt really tight, and it didn't feel too short necessarily. But I was having such a good time in that world and in this sort of like Universal monster movie part of the universe. Like I kind of wanted more. Like you could have just done a full feature film. Like it would have been kind of cool to do. So what were your thoughts?
I dug it. I think I would have had more appreciation for it if I was a fan of like, you know, the movies of the 30s that this is based off of,
sure,
or inspired by. But for what it was, I enjoyed it. I think 53 minutes was fine. You know, there's not much going on, right? Like there's no.
Oh, it's super basic. Yeah.
Plot, right? Like there's no real story, right? It's all spectacle, which is fine. It just needed to be. That's about as much like real regular ass spectacle that I need. And yeah, it was super fun. I appreciated the fact that this was something brand new. I appreciated the fact that, you know, they didn't shy away from violence, right? Like we're talking about monsters here, man. Like, you know, and I'm very curious if this is, you know, if this is received well, will they kind of kickstart the, you know, monster wave, the monster wing of the Marvel universe, right? We got that military like espionage wing, we got the magic wing, we got the cosmic wing. So yeah, we need a monster wing, right?
Yeah, all the horror wing. Yeah,
Yeah, and
I think so. I think that's coming.
yeah, I think so. I think this was just to kind of prime people, right?
Mm-hmm.
To just be like, hey, we can do R-rated movies, or we're not afraid to go R-rated or whatever, right? Yeah, I don't have much to say about it because like the story isn't the best, but for what it is doing, for what it's trying to do, I had a blast with it. I thought it was fun. Like you said, I appreciate the fact that they're taking swings, and if you think about it, like Marvel doesn't always take big swings anymore, but when they swing, you know it, and it's like they're swinging with very different bats, right? Like, and sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. I think this was a hit.
It was,
and I think this was universally a hit, right? Like everybody seemed to like this, right?
Yeah, the critics rating was 91%. I'm just doing Rotten Tomatoes, just as a sort of a aggregate kind of thing, does. Right? 91% for critics, 92% for fans. So that's pretty well in line. Like that's not wildly different. I mean, look, always the fans are going to be a little bit more receptive anyway, but the critics really like this too. And I think, I mean, it was kind of, it's in a way it's kind of unfair, right? Because it's like, it's playing to the classic monster movie, classic cinema. Like, of course critics are going to like it. And you've got like a few really classic actors in it and stuff like that. So I'm not shocked that they enjoyed it. But what I did like, is some of what could potentially be like the practical monster designs of some of the hunted monsters. One of them specifically being like a very like vampire bat-ish kind of character, which I think maybe you might see something similar in Blade, right? Like I think these kind of things, like I wouldn't be surprised. I'd like to go back and watch it again. Like I wouldn't be surprised if some of these designs and things like that you see pop up in different parts of the sort of horror corners of the universe. But I thought that was cool. I mean, the reason why I said I could have gone for maybe another 20 minutes or so is more of the Werewolf by Night, like being in it, right? Like it was mostly he's not in it. And it was just sort of kind of flushing out that world. And then he shows up and fucking kicks the shit out of everybody. But, I could have actually gone with more of him. Like that would have been kind of fun. But I like the idea of that story, which is like these like monster hunters and they get together and the main guy is dead, but like his body has been like slightly reanimated so he could kind of host this thing. And it's kind of creepy and weird in a lot of ways. And it had a good amount of violence and stuff like that. And I thought it just super worked. And then like, I like the ending, which is it fades to color, much like, like Wizard of Oz type of thing. It fades into color, kind of establishing like, yeah, these guys exist in the modern universe. Like they are in the MCU. More on that later, right? Like these folks are going to, potentially pop up in other things, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I mean, they established that in the beginning, right? Like the narrator makes reference to the Avengers in the beginning.
Right, which I thought was cool. Like, so you're not like, oh, what year is this happening? It's like, nah, it's right now. So yeah, look, don't be surprised if you see Werewolf by Night show up, or Elsa Bloodstone or whatever show up in Blade or whatever they're building to, because that seems to be pretty clear that they're trying to do something on the horror side. You got Blade, you've got potentially Black Knight. I mean, Werewolf by Night now. You've got, potentially Punisher might be on that end. You don't know, like depending on the comics, he goes anywhere between just sort of the practical street kind of characters to sort of the horror characters. So yeah, you don't know. And there's still been a lot of speculation and talk about Ghost Rider at some point. So, I mean, once you broach Ghost Rider, I mean, all hell breaks loose at that point. You can bring in anything. But Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought Werewolf by Night was really fun. So more of that. Do stuff like this.
If they do a Ghost Rider, if and when they do a Ghost Rider, which Ghost Rider do you think they'll do?
Well,
Catch Blaze or Reyes?
it's a good question, right? Because
Yeah,
like how the MCU is set up right now would tell me it would be Robbie Reyes, right? But it would be really crazy to skip over Johnny Blaze, right? Like,
yeah.
And then, like, Danny Ketch would also work. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe you do like Johnny Blaze and Robbie Reyes. Like, I don't know. Like, you could potentially, I mean, what you could do is you could start with Johnny Blaze and then give yourself space that, like, you pick an actor, let him run for a while, then you go to Danny Ketch, and then you let them run for a while, then you go to Robbie Reyes, right? Like, you have the time. I mean, spoiler alert, if you don't realize that's happening with the Hulk, duh. Like that, right. Certain actors are kind of like pulling themselves out of these roles, so they got to put in the replacements for that. So, yeah, you could do that.
Yes, I don't know. we do know that Robbie Reyes has been in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and technically Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in the MCU. We are aware. We're talking about a movie. We're talking about a movie debut, right?
Right. Like, and even that's only right. Like, and even that's technically Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in the MCU. Like, right. Right. Like, so we don't know. Look, if they decided to make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. canon, which would be hard because they had like time travel and shit at the like last season, which would really kind of fuck things up. But they could just, you could kind of hand wave it away. If they decided to do that, like, yeah, they got Gabriel Luna, who played Robbie Reyes. He was pretty good. Like, he was actually pretty dope. I would be fine with bringing him back. Like, I thought that guy did a good job. But if they decide to kind of fully reboot that character, which my guess is they probably will, I would probably go with Johnny Blaze just because he's the original. If you're going to start the character completely from scratch, I think you go Johnny Blaze. That being said, Norman Reedus is not a good choice for that. I don't know why people say. I know why people say that. Just because Durrell rides a bike in Walking Dead doesn't make him a good Ghost Rider. I need people to calm down. I watched a clip from that show recently with Durrell. It was pretty bad. Like, he seems so uninterested in being there. Like, it was weird as an actor to see that.
I would pick like Charlie Hunnam or somebody.
Yeah.
If you like, I think Charlie Hunnam would be a good Johnny Blaze. And if you're gonna just be so like simple minded as to pick a guy that rides a motorcycle, wasn't he in a motorcycle TV show? A TV show all about motorcycles?
Yeah,
and motorcycle gangs and shit. So like,
I actually think he would. I think he's actually too old now to play that character. But like, he wouldn't be a bad choice. Actually, that actually might work. I'm not mad at that. I mean, I know Charlie Hunnam has always been sort of fan casted as Green Arrow, and like, that always kind of did make sense. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. And then they just like didn't do it. I was like, then you're gonna just do the TV show? Oh, okay. Like,
ooh, yeah, Charlie Hunnam's 42. So if they were gonna do it, they would have to have done it 2 years ago.
Yeah, like it just doesn't make sense for the MCU to start picking actors already in their 40s, like, for roles like that. I mean, there's definitely roles in the MCU for people like that, but of that age, I'm of that age. Me and Charlie Hunnam, it's both the same shape too, by the way.
Twins.
Oh yeah.
Also, Norman Reedus is 53.
So. Nah, yo. Really?
Yeah, he's 53.
Wow, he actually does. He doesn't
look it.
No, he actually looks good for 53. Like, I would not have guessed he's that old. That's one of the rare occasions why people actually look. He actually looks way younger than he is. Not the reverse.
Yeah, like, this is weird. Like, yeah. I'm not. I don't want to believe it. Like,
it's all that Walking Dead money. I mean, that guy's like, I'm living forever. They're never gonna stop making these shows. But yeah, I think that's 53 is way too old to play Ghost Rider, because they're gonna want you to do like 2 or 3 movies. Like, Nah, come on. You need somebody. If you're gonna do Johnny Blaze and the whole like Daredevil on a bike thing, like, yeah, he should be in his 20s, like mid to late 20s. Like he should be an arrogant asshole, and then he gets the powers, and then blah blah blah. Like, you know,
or somebody that can play 20, right? Somebody that
that's
can
also
play
fine
like 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he should be somebody who can stick around for a while. So, all right. Yeah. So again, Werewolf by Night, pretty goddamn fun. Is there any other characters that you think could benefit from like these like 50-minute, 1 hour sort of like mini movies to just bring them into the MCU? Anybody you can think of?
Iron Fist. How about we redo that? How about we redo that nonsense?
That, you know what? That's actually a clever idea. Why not bring in Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage? Whether you pick the same actors or not, I have my own thoughts on that. No. Jessica Jones, fine. And the other two, I don't need that. But like, that'd be kind of cool. Just like a mini story. Just basically an extended episode of their show as a way to just bring them in and then dump them into the universe and other, drop them in other places. Because Daredevil deserves a season because like his stuff was good. Like people like him.
Yeah, and like everyone, it was universally praised. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm trying to. You know what? Speaking of redoing things, you can redo the Inhumans like this. And have it just be their thing, right? Like they don't have to interact with anybody else. Like just have it be their thing. Have it be like a little hour-long episode of Game of Thrones or whatever with the Inhumans.
That's not bad. That's a pretty good choice. I wonder if they'll do more of these. Like I like the idea of the just like one shot, not quite a full movie, but like you put the work in, right? But you nail it in one shot, and then you just move on. Like they're a part of the universe now. Like just at the end, it's like they're on Attila or whatever. And it's like in the end, it's like, no, we heard this stuff's going on in Earth, and then it's like, all right, cool, it's connected. Like that's it. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Like that might be a way to like bring in all of the failed shows and characters that didn't work under other people's, under Jeff Loeb or the other studios. I was just reading an article today with one of the actors from Runaways. Like, I don't think a lot of people saw Runaways. I actually enjoyed it. Like, I didn't finish the last season because I knew it was kind of done. But I enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Runaways. Like, those kids are now they're too old because kids, they age up really fast.
Yeah.
But like, if you wanted to bring them in slightly older, you could do one episode, like a good hour-long episode of Runaways that kind of pulls them into the rest of the universe. You could do it. And with the same exact actors, if they're up for it. I mean, this one young lady who was in it, she was like, yeah, I would be 100% fine to be in the MCU. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I bet you would. Cloak and Dagger, same thing. Like, you could pull them in. Why not? They're pretty big characters in, like, not big, but I mean, they have some pretty big roles in like Spider-Man part of the universe. Why not? Yeah. And that show was actually pretty well done. So you could bring those actors back. Or again, you could pick new actors, but just say, hey, we're reestablishing these particular characters inside the MCU. I like that idea.
Yeah.
That's smart. All right. Next up, episode 6 of Andor. This had the most visually compelling thing that's ever happened in Star Wars. Top billing. Like, that scene of the escape was beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. This was my favorite episode of the show so far. It was great.
I think this episode really benefited from the setup, specifically the setup in episode 5. Like episode 5 was all set up for this, and it felt like I could watch those back to back. Because it's the best part of a heist, right? Like the planning and then the execution, right?
Yeah.
And this episode was the execution, And I can't believe that one, this is just like an episode of television, right? Like this is a 50-minute episode of television.
Right.
Which, I mean, yeah, like this felt like a movie, man. Like this, like production looked on point, and just everything about it was great. The storytelling within like the action scenes and towards the end, where one character is ready to double cross everybody, and like nobody trusts anybody. Like this is I cannot believe that this is Star Wars. I can't believe it. It just makes me love Rogue One all over again, man.
Dude, I'm telling you, like for me, Rogue One is the second best Star Wars movie. Like it is. And that's me myself personally. I feel as though it is. I think it's because it takes what has largely been seen, and I'm not saying that that's fair, but what's largely been seen as like kiddie storytelling of Star Wars. And I don't think that's a fair criticism, but I think a lot of people see it as like, oh, they're kids' movies, whatever. What's largely been seen as kiddie sort of storytelling, and Rogue One was like, no, motherfucker, this shit is very serious, and it is a sort of a really well done analogy for some serious shit, right? Like war is hell kind of thing, right? Like this show is teaching people about what fascism is and what revolution really is. Not online fucking Twitter react, I'm upset about this revolution. What real revolution looks like. And I don't know that people get that. Like I know people, laser guns and everything. Although, as a side note, I think it's a little fucked up, like from a production standpoint. Like they just took regular guns and just made them into like laser guns. I'm like, yo, that's an AK-47. Yo. You're not even trying to make it. They don't even look like prop Star Wars guns. It's just a straight up AK-47. Like it's got the little thing on the front too. I'm just like, come on, man, you do better. But I don't think people quite realize that it is actually dealing with fascism, like in and of itself. Like that to me, I think is fascinating about this show. I really, really do. But I think most people are just like, yeah, fucking TIE fighters, dude. Like, but there's a lot more there.
I mean, I don't fault people if they don't grasp like the higher,
sure,
storytelling. Like, hopefully, stuff like that will come in through osmosis or something like that.
Right.
If you're entertained, I think that should be your primary focus. And then if you learn something,
it's a benefit.
Maybe something will trigger.
I see what's happening.
When the real fascists are starting to fucking jackboot their asses down Main Street.
Right.
Maybe something all like, hey, wait a minute, I feel like I've seen this before. And then
I saw this in Star Wars. I don't think this is cool. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, man. Like, look, everyone loves Darth Vader, right? But like, we can't make fascists cool unless they wear green tunics and green hoods. And
right.
No, man. This I love it. I like I said, I can't believe this is Star Wars. I absolutely love this. I wish there were. I have to ask Leonardo, because he's the only Star Wars person that I can talk to without getting a headache. I have to ask him if there are any like
agree to disagree
books. I'll have to ask him if there are any books that are kind of not necessarily in this realm, but have this type of feeling to them. Like this is the fucking military shit that I like, yo. Like,
yeah,
man. I love it. I love this show. This is saving Star Wars for me.
Yeah, like this and The Mandalorian, like you're right there, man. You're right where I need to be for this universe. Like, And that's what actually intrigues me about where Ahsoka is going to go, right? Because we have not, like, the one part of the universe that gets a little overwrought and ridiculous is the Jedi part, right? Like, because they have so hard focused on it, like there's now this space of like, what about the revolution? You know, what about the rebellion, and you know, yada yada yada, and sort of these other ancillary characters and stuff like that, and the sort of shady shit, like the Coruscant type of, you know, underground shit that you get kind of in Mandalorian and stuff like that. Like, because they've never really hard focused on those things, like there's so much story to mine there, right? I'm really hoping that Ahsoka gets to mine the part of the Jedi aspect that we've never seen before. Because then, if you have those three shows and they're all, you know, kicking into high gear and it's all like prestige television, I couldn't be happier. But then you have to get the movies to not be so off the rails, right? Like, if they can figure that out for the movies to be as engrossing as this. Yeah, like Star Wars could last 100 years.
The problem is movies they can't narrowcast. These shows can narrowcast.
Right, they got to be out for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, the movies have to be super broad. Like all the politics stuff that everyone hates in episodes 1 through 3, like all that politics stuff is actually interesting. It's just told in a very obtuse way, and it burns people out.
Well, and like, you can dig in. You can't dig into it at all, right? Like, because you're moving too fast. There's too many things going on.
All that politics stuff, that needs time, man. Like that's gotta breathe, right? Like you gotta dig into, like, because like politics in real life. I mean, I know I shouldn't be comparing real life to, you know, laser swords, but politics in real life doesn't move that quickly.
No, it doesn't.
Right? Like, coups don't happen overnight, right?
No, they happen during the day in January. Everyone knows that. But yeah,
democracy dies to thunderous applause at a Senate meeting, apparently. Right. But yeah, stuff like that doesn't happen overnight, and it's super interesting. You just gotta dig into it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why a character that is as, and maybe this is sacrilege to, you know, hardcore Star Wars fans, Leonardo, relax, my next statement. But even characters like Mon Mothma are like, they're kind of throwaway characters, right? Like, oh, they exist in the universe, in the movies, we got it, you know, and then you move on, right? Back to the laser swords and shooting, right? Like, that's, you know, that's just a character exists. But in Andor, she has real weight, right? Like, here is this senator who is working behind the scenes with the budding parts of the rebellion as things are kicking off, right? When we see her, she's fully a part of the rebellion. And it's like, yeah, all right, whatever, lady. Like, I don't give a fuck. But like, that's not where that character starts. And so when you give it time, you get to make that character incredibly interesting. And like, she's got this kind of she's got this kind of like shitty home life with her husband, who's kind of like a douchebag, and like her kid doesn't really respect her or whatever. But here she is, like, while she's not getting this like respect at home, she's fomenting a rebellion to save the universe, right? Like, she's an incredibly important character, but you wouldn't get any of that from the 5 seconds she's on camera in the movies. But seeing her in her relationships with these other characters, it makes more sense. It makes her a full character. Look, the best thing Star Wars ever did was do television. It is. Yeah. It gave it chance to breathe. And frankly, I wouldn't even be rushing back to the movies for a while. I really wouldn't be.
Yeah, this really fits, right? Like, the reason a whole generation of fans love those prequels is, one, they grew up with them, and two, the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
the Clone Wars fleshed out everything about those first three movies, and retroactively they make the first three movies better.
Yep.
So yeah, man, I think television is kind of where it's at. for Star Wars. I think it's the reverse for Marvel, right? I think the movies are where Marvel shines, and the TV shows are where they are hit and miss.
Yep, I agree with that.
So yeah, more Star Wars TV, man. I'm curious about Ahsoka. I'm not 100% bought in on it because I don't have the love for that character that everyone else does.
Sure,
but I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a fair shake too. It's Rosario Dawson, man. I'll do whatever she wants.
Exactly. She's perfect. I mean, look, when she showed up in Mandalorian, that episode was dope as fuck. Like, she was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, she was great. So, I am totally cool with that. But it is fascinating. You're absolutely right. Like, for Star Wars, the television stuff is where it absolutely is shining. And then, their movies, I'm like, what is happening? I mean, it's partly because they tried to build the ship while they were flying it, which was stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Marvel, it's like, oh, step aside, Butch. Like, movies, like, we got it. So, and even though I think some of their last few movies have not been their best, but I still think that has a lot to do with they haven't gotten to the point, which is getting ready to happen, of like, this is the fucking next phase. Here is what's moving forward. Like, here's the interconnected story. Once that shit starts, then it's off to the races, because that's where they shine the best. Because everybody's like, oh, what's going to happen? What is this connected to? Da, 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 da. That's the water cooler shit that they built. So, but yeah, man, I thought this was a stellar episode of Andor. So we have what? 3 more? Is it 9 episodes?
No, I thought it was 12, man.
12 episodes?
I think we're halfway. Yeah, I think we're halfway done.
Jeez. Yeah, so all right.
Fine with me.
Yeah, no, I'm super digging the show. I really am. All right, season finale of She-Hulk. Look, you and I talked quite a bit, like, over text today, after watching it. You said that you had sort of like, mixed feelings on this.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings. Overall, I do enjoy the show. I watched it every week, the day it comes out. So I do enjoy the show. I think I said it last week. The most interesting part of the show is the narrative of these people coming after her and wanting her blood, right? And the previous episode, we got the last 10 minutes and we find out, it's the intelligentsia, like, who are the intelligentsia, right? And this episode, we find out who they are, and we just like we find out who they are, and we just like, okay, like and I 100% understand what they're doing with the show. I 100% understand it. I was just a little disappointed because I was super interested in that story, and even the title of the episode, like, well, no, whose story is this? It's my story. I'm going to tell this story the way I want it to be told, and it's not going to be the way you want it to be, necessarily, for me personally, and that's fine. I can appreciate it. It just kind of threw me for a loop. That's all. Yeah. Like, I like the fourth wall breaking.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it very much. I think it just kind of took me aback, right? Like, the first time you see Blazing Saddles, right? You are in this very specific world. And then the last 15 minutes of Blazing Saddles is fucking bonkers.
Yeah, it is.
Right? And I was just like, wait, what? Like, I was so comfortable in this world, and now it's Blazing Saddles, right? It's bonkers, right?
Right.
So I think I was just taken aback. Like, I didn't hate the ending, but I didn't feel like I got the answers that I was necessarily looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, I can't say what those were, right? Like, I can't articulate what those were. Like, they just Like if I read this in a story, like if I was reading a book and this ending happened,
What the fuck?
I'd be like, what the fuck is this? Right. But it does fit the show. It does fit the character. There's a ton of stuff that I did like. The opening was amazing.
Yeah, I enjoyed the opening a lot. I thought that was fun.
I fucking love the opening. The fourth wall breaking was good, but I reserve the right to retroactively come back and say, go fuck yourself if all the stuff that they're calling out from Marvel doesn't get
Corrected.
fixed, right?
Yeah,
Like doesn't
agreed.
like
Agreed.
you can call out all your faults all you want, right? Like that makes you, like that endears you to people, right? But like we even said, like She-Hulk is the only one that's like having sex in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they make reference to that, right? They're like, oh yeah, we kind of don't let people, we're kind of sexless, right?
Yeah.
So okay, right? You call out all that stuff, that's great. I'm glad that you know where you need improvement. Improve.
Yeah.
And if you don't improve, well then,
yeah,
go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
but,
you've done nothing. You just got a cheap
right.
laugh is basically what you did.
Right.
So here's my thing. I wrote this on Twitter. That's how you know it's real. I think that this show has a lot of. I think this show has a lot going for it, and I think it also has plenty of issues. One thing I don't like, and I'm going to preface this by saying, let me make my full point, right? Which is, I think where the show has its worst moments is where it is so hard leaning into caring so much what other people think. Right? So like leaning so hard into like, what are the people like on the internet, guys on the internet saying, right? Like they lean heavy into that in the writing, right? Like they kind of create characters that mirror those characters and then they slam them, whatever. I get it. And so I think that's where the show is at its worst, because I think you're far too concerned about like sort of outside stories or like what people think versus telling a story. And here's where I would say, let me finish my point before you go, well, but the point is, I also recognize where my blind spot is, right? And here's something you don't hear on the internet often. People admitting where they actually have a blind spot. And I wrote this on Twitter. My blind spots are, I can tell I have them because I read what women think of this show, and they are very similar to how I saw the Falcon and the Winter Soldier versus how white people saw the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and how black people saw Black Panther, and how a lot of white people saw Black Panther. They're like, it was all right. And I'm like, I thought it was amazing, right? And like, I didn't think the Falcon and Winter Soldier was amazing, but I thought there were parts that people never talked about that you and I and Terrence talked about, right? And it was like, we had a very different perspective. So while I think that maybe it leaned a little too hard into that, I don't think women did think it leaned too hard into that. And I think then that's the point. So that's where my blind spot is. Now, me saying that does not excuse, I think there are some objective things, which is, I think some of the writing is not very good. Like, I think that the writing on the previous episode was better than this. The writer on this finale is the same writer. I think it's also the showrunner, if I recall, who did the first number of episodes that were a bit rough. Like, I liked them, but they were a bit rough. And I think this one felt a little rough too. I think part of that has to do with like trying to send a message more than trying to tell a story, right? But I like the fourth wall breaking in this. Like, I like the whole fucking Blazing Saddles moment was like, nah, fuck this. I'm going to the studio to talk to Kevin about what's going on. I actually thought that was really cute. I thought that was fun. And it worked for me. But I do think some of the writing overall has not been as tight as it absolutely should have been. But I do think that people should recognize that they have blind spots in this, right? Like I was talking to somebody who's not South Asian. I'm not South Asian either, but I'm married to a South Asian woman. And like things that I saw in Miss Marvel, things that I know about that culture, I connected to. I was like, okay, I see that. I see those terms and those kind of things. I recognize them more than I think a person who doesn't, right? And somebody was like, Miss Marvel sucked. And I'm like, it's probably more because of the blind spots you have. You don't see the cultural connections to certain things, right? That doesn't mean that maybe some of the writing wasn't as like fucking spot on for you or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you're wrong or you're a sexist because you didn't like it. But I do think that there are blind spots for those shows if it's not geared towards you. The rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like the movies and things like that, have been largely geared to a big white audience. Like that's just what they are. Like you don't have to have any cultural references to get Thor. Like even though it's Norse mythology, it's not written in that way, right? Black Widow leaned pretty heavily into like women being controlled by men. And look, I think a lot of the writing on that movie was like, it was okay, not amazing. And some of the storytelling wasn't amazing. But like those last couple of moments, like if you didn't get what the fuck they were trying to say, like it's just because you had a huge blind spot. Like it just did. So it's interesting. And then things like Loki and WandaVision didn't lean into any sort of racial or gender categories heavily, right? I mean, WandaVision was much more about just grief in general than necessarily woman's grief, though that's there, right? So I think more people could kind of understand it. So like, I have to recognize some of my blind spots. But again, I don't think that She-Hulk is written the best either. So, there's as even-handed of a review as I can give.
With your comment about having blind spots, it's true, right? Like we all have them, right? And I think part of the reason is that because this show has to try to appeal to everyone. Well, not necessarily try to appeal to everyone. It appeals to who is geared towards, but they also want people to right. See. Like it's like the stuff that you have a blind spot to, like. There's a way to talk about it, but the problem is when you try to talk about it, people get willfully blind, and
yes, yeah,
and then you have to fucking like beat you over the head with it. And I'm not saying the show beats you over the head with it.
In some moments, it does.
You have to get very, very blunt, right? Like the one scene where homeboy is the lawyer is infiltrating the cabin, and Ginger Gonzaga's character is like, oh yeah, be sure to call women females, right? Like, right. And he's taken aback, like, what? Like, I don't call women females. Like, we are that guy, right? Like, we don't call women females and shit, right? Right. But guys do. Right, like that Twitter thread you showed me was just maddening. Like
yeah, these are grown people, yo. Why not? Aren't you a female? Do you refer to other men as males?
If you apply on an application, don't you check female? Like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, yo? Like
that to me, that's willful blindness, right? That's right. What you're talking about. That's willful blindness,
and you have to beat people over the head with that shit to just get out of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Guys get on my goddamn nerves sometimes.
Like sometimes I'm just like, yo, come on, man.
Come on. Like this ain't even me like trying to like cape for women or whatever. Like this is just like allow me to talk to the men. Right, because I want
males.
Excuse me. Allow me to talk to the males because I still want to be in charge. You guys are worrying about the wrong shit, yo. Like,
yeah.
I thought that males were supposed to be men, right? Like,
I mean, on an application, don't they check male?
Like it just feels very odd to me that dudes give a shit about women not wanting to be called females and
It's
women
weird.
being represent a woman being Black Panther, and like it just I don't know I don't know why you care that much. I don't know why you care.
I just want to see a fun movie, man. Like I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Yeah, yo.
I don't give a shit.
I just want to see people fucking kicking ass and taking names, yo. Like,
yeah, that's it.
I just
like look,
like you're supposed to be men. Like, start acting like it, yo. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I don't understand why anybody cares. Look, here's my only thing. Here's my thing with She-Hulk. All I need from She-Hulk is to be a fun fourth wall breaking character in the movies, because she's eventually going to go to the movies, even though the Kevin robot says she isn't, which was hilarious. Oh, you'll be in the movies. No, you won't. Which is hilarious. Just throw a car at someone, okay? Like that's all I'm asking for. Be funny. You're a quippy sort of character, and then just like, oh shit, like let me go ahead and throw this car at somebody, or throw someone through a brick wall, and that's what's going to happen, and it's fine, right? Like. That's all we're asking for. That's all I need. Other than that, I don't give a shit that the character's a woman. Who the fuck is mad? Like, who are you? Like, yeah, they're ruining it. Like, they're not. They're not ruining anything. It's fine.
And that's what's sad, right? Like the dudes in that cabin or whatever at the end of at the end of the TV show, like they exist still, and I'm just like.
How?
I want to know why you care. I want to know why you care. I really do. I want to know why you care.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they care. Here's the thing that they're not going to want to hear. They're not going to watch this, right? Because we're not shitting on the show.
They've already turned it off. We said She-Hulk ain't bad, and they turned the shit off.
I'm going to go back to my mom's basement with my bowl of Cheetos, and I'm going to think about this.
I'm going to go back and masturbate because
to pictures of She-Hulk. They're being honest, like we know. Relax. But like it's because they're incredibly insecure. And the idea of, and I'm not saying that as people who have criticisms of the show, legitimate criticisms of the show. That's not who I'm talking about. We're talking about lunatics here, guys. They're incredibly insecure. And the idea of women as powerful beings in society, or even in fictional societies, bothers them because they are insecure. I don't know, man. Like, I guess I'll just tell you what you should have learned from your dad. Go lift a weight. Like, go to the gym. I don't know, man. Do something that makes you feel more like a guy. If that bothers you, it's fucking strange. So it's just incredible. It's just incredible insecurity.
Bunch of grown ass men who refer to themselves as alpha males. Worried about a goddamn a lady TV show. Like, what the fuck? Like,
did you know they made this different?
The agenda is real. I saw that on Facebook today.
What agenda
is real. Let me see this shit. Let me see if I can
what agenda? The woman's agenda? Is it the woman's agenda?
I don't know. I don't know.
The gay agenda? Is it the gay woman agenda?
The fourth wall breaking agenda? I don't know.
The jolly green giant agenda is real. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, look, Marvel is definitely leaning into more female characters, more minority characters and stuff like that, which is fine because it was white as fuck before. Yeah, sprinkle some fucking seasoning in there. That's cool, man. Ain't no big deal. Who cares? So
that season finale of She-Hulk is so forced. LOL. That's all I'll say. Hashtag propaganda. Hashtag forced message. Hashtag corny. Nigga, if it was that corny, you wouldn't have watched 8 episodes of it. Get the fuck out of here.
Also,
Kareem.
Also, I'm gonna take a page out of our buddy Deacon's book. Why do you say it's forced? How else would it happen? It's not like. What does that mean? Oh, they're putting women on TV. That's forced. Well, when they put men on TV, is that natural? It's not. It's television. That's an artificial fucking thing. What are you talking about? They're forcing diversity by putting black people in things. Yeah, they're forcing it. So how should it happen? Just through osmosis? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Stop saying words.
Exactly. How should it happen? Well, it should Wait, I can't say it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
exactly. Look, the person you're talking about, literally the dumbest person in our high school class, and I'm not just saying that as like a mean thing. Literally had the lowest scores of anybody in our high school class.
Saying it as a statistic, statistically, he was the dumbest person in an entire class.
Yeah, and anecdotally too. Anecdotally, from my perspective, anecdotally also true. So. So She-Hulk season finale. It worked for me. Again, I think the season suffers from some not so great writing. The guy who wrote episode 8, the one with the fucking leapfrog or whatever his name is, that to me is the best episode. And it's not just because Daredevil's in it. I think it's the best written episode. So I don't necessarily need that guy to write it. Like, I also think a woman's perspective is important, but I want more of that style of writing, which was a really good representation of like the woman's perspective, the like not non-sexual, like funny, but also had a message. It didn't club you over the head. It just had more subtlety. No, I think you're right. I think sometimes you need to fucking club people over the head because they're so stupid. I think that's true. And again, that's my blind spot. But I do think the writing in that episode is the best example of how you pull this character off. So, we'll see. Where do you think She-Hulk shows up next? Do you think she shows up in Daredevil?
No. I think Daredevil's based in New York. I mean, I guess that doesn't mean anything because he came to LA to see her. But I think Daredevil's kind of going for a hard PG-13 version of what the Netflix version of Daredevil was. Yeah, and something way more grounded. Quite frankly, Kingpin getting shot through the chest and just kind of shaking that shit off. That's about as supernatural as I need it to be. Like, I understand, like, Kingpin is like a big tough dude, right? He's built like a sumo wrestler, but like, yo, if I harpoon a sumo wrestler, he gonna bleed, yo.
Not him.
Yeah, he Honda, yo. Just fucking 100 hands slapping that shit. No, I think She-Hulk, honestly, I think She-Hulk shows up next in She-Hulk season 2. That's where I think She-Hulk shows up.
Yeah,
next.
You think so?
Yeah, and I don't know, because I can't think of a movie she would show up in. That's not a team up. That's not a massive team up.
I could see some sort of cameo in the Marvels. I could see that, like, or as an extra credit scene. I could see that.
I mean, maybe, but I don't. You already got 3 characters there who are more than enough for that movie.
Yeah.
And again, what the fuck would she be doing in Jersey? I mean, here that's Captain Marvel has the Superman thing going on, where it's like, well, what the fuck do I need these 2 for? Like,
yeah.
I'm Captain Marvel, yo. I'm pretty fucking strong.
She don't need nobody. Really don't need anybody. Yeah.
Right. The reason she's in it is because the main character idolizes the woman. So
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we'll see. I think She-Hulk shows up next in season 2 of She-Hulk, and I welcome a season 2 of She-Hulk.
Yeah,
like I said, I enjoyed it. Just the finale kind of threw me for a loop there.
Your comparison to Blazing Saddles is exactly right. That shit with Dom DeLuise was hilarious. All right, so let's get into Science and Tech this week. That was a big checked out. NASA says its space tech could cut electric car charging times to 5 minutes or less. This is pretty cool. A cooling system to be used for future NASA space missions might be used for charging electric cars. So apparently, they're using something called subcooled flow boiling. The technique could boost the amount of electrical current EV chargers can roughly 1,400 amps, nearly 5 times the rate of up to 520 amps currently supplied to EVs. So basically, it's like a hypercooling technology that would allow it so that basically the amount of amperage would, I mean, you know, electrical engineering shit, like basically it heats it up too much. If it gets too high, like, you know, it would malfunction or explode. So this would cool it significantly. The potentially new system could be used to, quote, deliver 4.6 times the current fastest available electrical vehicle chargers on the market today by removing up to 24.22 kilowatts of heat. Okay. Obviously, electric cars are coming. I saw a new one that I had never heard of on the road today called a Polestar. It was a pretty cool looking truck. It's actually priced pretty well too. Is this the thing? Like, is charging times? Is that the thing? Like for you, would that be like that's it? That fixes the big gap for you?
No, the price is what does it for me. I can't afford an electric car. At least not one. Sure you can. Not one that I can. Well, I make enough money to have side chicks, apparently.
According to that video, yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? No, I don't.
You mean take them out? It's not about taking them out. Betting it?
It is right. Get out of here. No, I it's the price. I don't necessarily mind the charging times because I have no idea what the charging times are because I don't have an electric car.
That's funny.
So
I'm just looking at money right now. Yeah,
that's the thing that needs. That's the barrier that needs to be penetrated for these things to be ubiquitous.
I think people think electric cars are more than they are. Like I know people price the Tesla as the only one they know, and they're really expensive. But this Polestar, for instance, is an SUV. The long range with a dual motor, all wheel drive, is $57,000, right? That's the high end one. The low end one, that's front wheel drive, is $48,000. You could definitely buy
you got to get them under $30,000 for most people.
Yes, but keep in mind, a brand new Jeep Cherokee is $40,000
base.
Yeah, $40,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, like the Kia Telluride, which I see a lot of those, base is $37,000. Like they're not that crazy expensive, like comparatively. Like they're just not. The shit. I've seen people driving the Bronco Raptor. I saw two of them today. They're $70,000. Those big pickup trucks that people have, the big fancy ones, those are $50,000. Like, I think people just think, electric cars are $100,000. I have one. No, the fuck they're not. No, they're not.
What's a used electric car go for? You can
buy a Tesla at CarMax. I just sold one to CarMax. You can buy them at CarMax. Let's see. Let's see, Tesla Model 3. I bet they're like 45. Yeah, 48, 53, you know.
You gotta. I feel like you gotta get them to like $35,000.
Look, 35 is going to be for like the average American, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah, average American. Like these are basically $50,000, right? For a car with 14,000 miles on it, 30,000 miles on it. They're also certified for 1 million miles. So does it really fucking matter, right? Which is just an obnoxious number, 1 million miles. Like, why not just 1 billion miles?
Come on.
Why even give a number at that point? Go fuck yourself. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, the Bronco Raptor, and I quite literally saw two of these today, and those look fucking awesome. They're $70,000. Like, that's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. So yeah, people could afford these. I think people just assume that they're way more expensive. But I do think like the idea of being able to charge it in like 5 minutes is really appealing to people. Because people are always like, well, you know, they always ask me like, oh, aren't you afraid you're going to run out of charge? I'm like, aren't you afraid you're ever going to run out of gas? Like, what is?
Yeah, that's a stupid question.
It's a stupid question. I don't just drive around with my head in the clouds. What the fuck? I look.
I think what they're trying to say is
there's not gas stations everywhere.
Yeah, because you don't see, charging stations all over the place, or they're not as like pronounced. Maybe they are all over the place. I don't know, but there's not a big yellow shell out there that says charging station. I think that's what people like. Have you done any long trips? Like I'm getting ready to rent a car and drive to Florida for some strange reason.
Yeah.
Have you done a trip like that?
Yeah, we drove all the way from Baltimore to the Catskills in New York, which is like 2 hours north of New York City.
All right, so that's like 6 hours.
Yeah, but no any problems.
On one charge? No, did you have to charge it?
Yeah, we have to charge it once.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
So my car gets my car gets like what would be equivalent to you getting like 300 like 330 miles to a full charge. Right? 315, 330, something like that. So like, yeah, we charged one time in somewhere above the city, above New York, and then drove to where we were going. And we were fine. But the difference is I'd get to charge my car at home. You always have to go to a gas station. Like that's the difference. And I think people forget that. They're like, but there are no gas stations. I'm like, I don't need to go to I don't go to the supercharger all the time. What the fuck? That's paying money. Like, no.
Yeah, you got to pay for that.
Yeah, that shit ain't free. Unless if you had an original Model S, they gave you free supercharging for life. What a fucking deal that is. Holy shit.
Jesus.
Yeah. That car also costs $100,000. So
yeah, that's my big thing. Like the Teslas look fine. The Model 3 looks okay in certain colors with certain wheels.
Yeah.
For me, myself personally. But I would want the Model S, and I saw the price of a Model S. I just can't do it.
No, there's no. And actually, here's the thing. Yeah, you don't want the Model S. No, you don't. Like the Model S, like they haven't done big changes to that one in a while. Like the more modern ones are the X, the Y, and the 3. Yeah,
because those are the ones that people can afford.
Yeah, who the fuck can afford $100,000 car? What the fuck? Get out of here! Like, what kind of nonsense is it? Here's a whole year's salary for a rich person for a car. Fuck off! No, that's insane. But yeah, look, I mean, again, this Polestar. I was reading reviews of it today because I've never seen it on the road. It gets 260, 270 miles charged. Like I would want something that gets at least 300, but that's not bad. I mean, it's a pretty nice looking SUV. It's kind of cool looking. It looked dope it was a black one. It looked dope. So look, I think fast charging is, I think that's a real positive. I also think once there are just more charging places, I think people will feel more secure about it. And there are more and more popping up everywhere, but that will help people. So.
Oh, okay. So these people are a subsidiary of Volvo.
Oh, is that right? Polestar is?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's people who actually know how to make cars. That's good.
I mean, it's not like I'm always very leery. I'm always very leery of that. I remember my dad. Of course. He once, for some strange reason, he had this like dream of buying a car and driving it right off the showroom floor. Right?
I remember that car. I remember.
So it was a Chrysler Cirrus, okay, and Chrysler's been around for a while, but the Cirrus was a new model car at the time. It was a brand new model of car, and he bought that pea green Chrysler Cirrus, drove it off the lot, and it was the worst car he's ever bought in his entire life. That car was a piece of trash. Now, part of it is because he bought a car that it was the first run of this model
that's
car.
Not a good idea.
and he bought it off the showroom floor. Like it's not at a car show, nigga. Like it was on a rotating platform. It wasn't like at the dealership in a showroom floor. No, like
are you serious?
Yes, yo. Like
did he say like I want that one right there?
Yes. Like
wow.
Come on, yo.
That is not something he should have done. Didn't the master cylinder in that car go off after a year?
Yeah, it was a piece of shit, yo.
That's fucking hilarious. I love that your dad was like, I want that one. And they were like, no problem.
It's a big baller, right? Like, nah, I want that one, right? Yeah, you know, that's what happens. That's what happens when you do it for the gram, folks. Like,
your dad was out there fucking balling, yo. He was like, pull that one. I like, oh, sir, are you interested in the Chrysler Cirrus? You know what? I am. Pull that one down right there. No, we'll get one. I want that one. Sir, that one's on fire. I said I want that one.
Shut up and take my money. That's literally what it was.
They were like, you know what? You're right. Don't call us, though. That's fucking hilarious. Oh, my God. I didn't realize he bought it. I didn't realize he bought it at a car show. That's wild. Yeah. Man. I'm surprised it even had an engine in it. But, you know, again, throwing money at not a problem, actually. All right, let's get into topics this week.
The Naked Gun is getting a reboot. So Lonely Island member Akiva Schaffer is set to do. I only know the one dude, Andy Samberg from the Lonely Island. I don't know. It's Andy Samberg and the Pips. That's the Lonely Island to me. Anyway, this dude Schaefer is set to direct a reboot of The Naked Gun with Liam Neeson as the star. I think this is a brilliant idea.
Yep, I'm not mad at this. Look, Liam Neeson has very good comedic timing. A lot of people don't know that because he's normally a hyper serious person.
That's the joke, right?
Yeah.
Like they're going to play off of the fact that he's a hyper serious person in a slapstick comedy.
Yep.
The dude from Taken in The Naked Gun. Yeah. I am all about this.
Have you ever seen when he was on that Ricky Gervais show with what is it? Oh God, with Warwick Davis. It's actually a Warwick Davis show that Ricky Gervais did, where he comes in, he plays himself, and he's like he wants to get into improvisational comedy, but like he can't stop being so fucking serious, and they're like, yeah, let's do some skits or whatever. And, he cannot do any skits that are not dead serious. He's like, all right, you're gonna play a patient, and I'll like a hypochondriac, and I'll play the doctor. And it's Ricky Gervais, like he's trying to be light. It's like, all right, hey, what's the problem? He's like, I have full-blown AIDS. I got it from an African prostitute. You're like, Jesus Christ, dude, stop being so fucking serious. Like, it's hilarious. It's so funny because he is so ridiculously serious. So, yeah, no, this totally works. It totally works. I like this idea a lot.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, cool. Should be fun. And I can't wait to see outtakes of that because he's actually like a pretty funny guy, like outside of that. So to watch him like trying to keep a straight face and do this, yeah, that should be pretty good.
Now get ready for people to bring up the fact that he once said he wanted to murder a black dude because because he heard a black guy raped his friend. Get ready for all the bad faith arguments I don't even know if I'm using that term correctly. Get ready for all the bad faith arguments to come up and be like, well, he said this once in a fit of rage that he wanted to murder a black guy because, and then just forget about the other part and then forget about the fact that he kind of felt bad. He felt very bad for it.
Yeah. And he fucking apologized. Look, was it cool? We talked about that on Black Cinema. No, that's an acceptable fucking thing to say. What the fuck?
Of course not.
Right, but at the same time, like, you gonna hold this against this guy forever? Like, okay, guys. Apparently. I don't care enough. Although it would have been funny if he tried to hit somebody with a blackjack and got beat up. Like I mean, that would be funny. Yeah, I don't give a shit about Liam Neeson like that at all. Yeah, next story.
No. John Carpenter wants to develop. He wants to adapt Dead Space into a film. So Dead Space, for those that do not know, well, film, TV show, I don't know yet, but
probably a movie.
Well, this says big screen, so it's a film. He wants to adapt Dead Space. Dead Space is a sci-fi horror franchise that is very. The first game is very good. It is very atmospheric. It's one of those games that that I will only play during the day.
Nope.
Because it's this feels like a perfect fit. And then the franchise kind of lost its way in the second one, and then the third game is practically unrecognizable from the first game.
I've seen clips of the first game. So no for me, dog. Like, never playing that. Get the fuck out of here, yo. Like, I don't like horror like that. Like, there's some horror I do enjoy, but more slasher film type shit. But like, not that. Not monster shit.
I don't like being scared. I don't like being scared. I don't like shit jumping out at me. I don't like that.
Ironically, neither does John Carpenter. Like he said that in the interview. He was like, later in the interview, he's like, yeah, they asked if he gets scared playing games, and he says, quote, "Well, I don't like things jumping out at me and threatening my character. No, don't threaten my character. I want to survive. A lot of games, they penalize you for dying. It's one of those things I liked about Fallout.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They don't penalize you. You die over and over again on a hard mission. I like that. Like, he don't even like being scared. What the fuck? John Carpenter doesn't? Well, why are you tormenting us, dude? You spent your whole career doing that. You're really good at it. Yeah, I think that's cool.
I think a Dead Space movie could work. I think it already did work. It's called Alien. It's called Life. It's called
God, that movie was really fucking disturbing.
I love that movie. It's sci-fi horror. Sci-fi horror has, like, you know, the tropes of, like, you know, paranoia and shit like that. It's called The Thing, right? Like this movie has been done before. There's no reason why it can't be done again. I think John Carpenter would be great at it. I would watch a Dead Space movie before I play a Dead Space game. And for those of you who don't play games, you might think that's kind of odd. No, it's not odd at all, because movies are a passive medium. Video games are an active one. That's me. I am that Isaac the engineer in Dead Space. Whereas if I'm just watching a movie, I'm watching Isaac the engineer. And that's the difference. I'm watching him get scared. And if I'm playing the game, I'm getting scared. So me and John Carpenter are on the same page.
The last movie I saw that John Carpenter did that I did not care for was Ghosts of Mars with Ice Cube. That was bad. I did not like that movie. It was ridiculous. But at the same time, like, I like the aesthetic of that movie. Look, I mean, he's done a lot of really, really great movies. Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, Escape from New York, The Thing, Christine, Big Trouble in Little China, They Live, Memoirs of an Invisible Man, In the Mouth of Madness, Village of the Damned, Escape from New York, Vampires, which is not that great, but it's kind of a classic. So yeah, I mean, he's had way more hits than misses. I mean, to say that about John Carpenter is kind of ridiculous. He's a fucking legend. Look, if he wants to do it, let him do it. I like that he knows what Dead Space is at 74 years old, right? He's like, no, I want to fucking do that shit. And I've heard that from him before, that he's mentioned it. Why is no one giving him the fucking property? Like, it was John Carpenter. Let him do it. The fuck, if he wants to. Like, it sounds good to me.
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, nobody else is making it.
Speaking of, if he wants to do it, let him do it. Brendan Fraser is open to a fourth Mummy movie. It says that Tom Cruise's movie reboot flopped because it wasn't fun. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with him. It didn't look fun.
Did you not see it?
Fun. No. What the fuck? No, I didn't see that movie.
It's not good.
It didn't look good. It didn't look good. It didn't look fun. It looked, and it looked like it was, as soon as they said the dark universe, I'm like, oh, so they're going to try and do this connected universe thing.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't feel like a Tom Cruise movie to me. Like a Tom Cruise movie at this point is all about spectacle.
There's a lot of spectacle in that movie. There's a lot.
A lot of like practical effects and like spectacular shit.
Yeah, there's like buildings blowing up. There's a car chase scene where he's in the car and it flips over, or he's running and it flips over and it flips over him and shit like that. Like there's some spectacle to it. It's just not a very good movie because it doesn't know what it wants to be. It didn't know if it wanted to be comedic, like adventure hopping, or horror. Like it was a weird mix of all it's just not. Tom Cruise shouldn't have been in that movie. Like it just, and it also should have known what it was.
It didn't seem like a movie he would be in, to be perfectly honest with you. Like,
yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know. And then I heard multiple reviews, and they have like Dr. Jekyll is like their Nick Fury, and and they have a shield organization called
Prodigium.
Pentagram or some shit.
Prodigium. Yeah.
Prodigium. What the is that a word?
I don't know.
Prodigium?
Yeah, I think it's Prodigium.
Yo, it sounds like a pocket monster, yo. It sounds like a Pokemon.
Prodigium, I choose you.
Prodigium. I don't even know how to. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's a word.
It's a song.
Oh, maybe I spelled it wrong.
It's pro digi like pro Digimon Yeah. Is a multinational organization dedicated to tracking, studying, and if necessary, destroying monsters. A lot of people didn't know that.
Okay. Wiktionary says it means omen.
There you go.
All right. Whatever. It didn't look good. Look, back to this story. Look, if Brendan Fraser wants to do a mummy movie, let Brendan Fraser do a mummy movie. That guy apparently, from all accounts, is a sweetheart of a guy, and I kind of like those first two mummy movies. Look, I really do.
Look, I like all three of them. Like they're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. I even like the third one.
They're fun, man. They're fun. It's just mindless fun, right? It's like National Treasure, but like ancient Egypt, right? Like it's like Indiana Jones, but like on TBS. Like it's fun.
Yeah. That's exactly like on TBS. That's exactly right. Like the thing with those movies, and more so the thing with him doing another one, be a bit of a dick. He has to get in shape for those movies. He has to. He does. He has to. It's a lot of running around. It's a lot of like. It is, like they're adventure hopping movies. Like he's got to get in shape for that. And I'm not saying he can't. I think he could, but like he would have to.
I mean, is he saying like I think he's saying that because Brendan Fraser is not to your point, he doesn't look like he did back in his mummy days.
No, he doesn't.
But I feel like you can kind of, so he had a kid with Rachel Weisz. I think you can kind of pass the mantle on to a new actor and just have him, have him. I always had this like half-baked pitch of what like a spun-off Die Hard could be, right? Where you take Al Powell, right? Like Al Powell gets kidnapped, and his son has to go save him.
Yeah.
And he enlists the help of this grizzled old cop, cowboy, right? That his dad used to tell him about. And he was just like, whatever, Dad. None of that shit happened to you. But then he finds the old cowboy, right? And it's John McClane. And
it's pretty good idea.
And this kind of it could be like a buddy cop thing. And then John McClane basically passes the torch on to, whatever, I almost said Chris Powell from Three Black Geeks. Fuck it. His name is Chris Powell. John McClane could pass it on to the guy from Three Black Geeks, Chris Powell.
That's fine.
And now,
Chris is a cool dude.
And now Chris Powell can be the new Die Hard guy.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I'm not watching if it's him. Like, I know him. I'm not giving that dude box office money. Knock it off.
It's fucking tall. I won't watch it because he's taller than me. Get the fuck out of here.
Then what do you think I'm gonna do? Like, knock it off.
You're used to it.
I'm a protester.
You're used to it.
No,
you're used to it. I am not.
No, that one time I was standing there, I was like, all y'all niggas are way too tall. This felt like a Brazers episode. Like it was not acceptable to me. I was like, everybody is way too big. Like, nah, yo. Like,
but they could do something like that if he wanted to be in The Mummy, right? Like he could, his kid could be the star. And,
I could see that. But like, I think he could pull it off. Like I like him a lot. Do you know why like his whole thing, like why his kind of star just fell off in Hollywood? It's kind of a fucking tragic story.
I thought he was like super depressed or something like that.
He got a divorce, and like from my understanding, like his ex-wife like either made up shit about him that turned out to like not be true, and then he got like, and then somebody tried to like, hey, if you sleep with me type of thing, I'll let you, I'll advance your career more. And he was like, no. And he got blackballed in Hollywood. And the rest of Hollywood was like, oh, he got blackballed? Well, fuck him. Like, so like I'm pretty sure it was like a male producer or something like that. I think the name came out, was like, look, you let me fuck you, and then like I'll let it rock. And then he was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And they were like, all right, cool. And they blackballed him and tried to destroy his career.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And so then and then the divorce also happened. Like, and so he went into like massive debt because he had some outsized crazy divorce agreement where he was paying like some insane money, and then he wasn't working. So like,
damn. Yeah,
if you're wondering what happened to Brendan Fraser, like, yeah, what happened to him is like that guy got a fucking raw deal. And then it was like, yeah, people were like, hey, maybe we should look back and what happened to that guy. The guy's like still out there trying to work. So
it's fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Like a sad story like that happens, but like at the same time, like Hollywood is doing everything it can to protect Ezra Miller so that this stupid Flash movie can come out. Like, what?
Why? Right.
Like that's messed up, man. That's messed up.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So here it is. Let me give the actual details of this. What happened to Brendan Fraser? In a 2018 interview with GQ, Fraser came forward and said that he had been sexually assaulted by Philip Burke, the former president of Hollywood Foreign Press. That's a big deal. He claimed that he was approached and inappropriately groped by Burke at a Beverly Hills hotel in 2003. Quote, I felt ill. And then basically when he didn't take his advances, Philip Burke fucking blackballed him. Jesus. And because he was the former president, or at the time, I guess the president of the Hollywood Foreign Press, he had big power, and people just believed him and not Brendan Fraser, and destroyed his career.
Damn.
Fucking wild. Yeah.
That's fucked up, man.
Yeah. So that was in 2003 that happened. So that's like right around the time, like his career, he was like booming. He was fucking everywhere. And then it was just like, boom, it was done.
Yeah, man, he was a good looking leading man.
Yeah, he was.
Like he was affable. You know what I mean? He was charming, but he could, like, I'm sure you could pull a strong performance out of him.
You know, he's in Oscar talk now.
Right, for The Whale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's fucked up, man.
It's
That's
super fucked up. Yeah, it is. It is. But like, if you look at his film, like his film work, like he dropped right about. I mean, he had always been kind of working throughout the whole thing, but like where all of his shit like really died was pretty much like 2004, 2005, and it was just like that was it, Gonzo.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
Yeah, but like he's booking them now, man, which is cool. It's cool to see him coming back. But yeah, The Whale apparently is amazing. But look, Darren Aronofsky, who's directing The Whale, is known for going, "Oh, where's your career going right now? I'm gonna pull you, and I'm gonna show people just the type of fucking actor you really are." Like he can pull performances, man. I mean, Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler. I mean, Jesus, like what the fuck kind of performance was that? It was incredible. But people thought Mickey Rourke's his career was over. He was like, nope, like it's not. His face is over, but the rest of him, nah. He's like that dude still got a hell of an actor inside of him. So yeah, I'm for it. Like if you want to do another Mummy movie, that's cool. I like those movies. I think they're fun. Don't tie them to any more of the Scorpion King movies, please. Next up, Netflix confirms ad-supported tier coming in November. So they are going to Netflix Basic with ads is what they're calling it. Will launch in the U.S. November 3rd. Price at $6.99 per month. The cheaper plan will also be available in 12 other countries: Australia, Brazil, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Mexico, South Korea, Spain, and the UK alongside the US. It will roll out in Canada and Mexico first on November 1st, and then the US on the 3rd. This probably doesn't really affect many people because most people will continue paying the higher price because nobody wants commercials. But it is $3 cheaper than Netflix's most basic plan, which is where you can only stream to one device at a time. However, both plans, the basic and the basic with ads, will still only allow you top quality of 720p HD, which I think is fucked up. You can't just give people full HD. Why?
Yeah, like, I mean, but look, if you're not willing to pay for it, that's fine. I get it. Like, it's only $6. Okay, I mean, they got to do something, right? Like, yeah. I don't know if they're making money. I doubt it, but it's an option, and options are good, right? Like, yeah, you don't want to take away options. So, I'm fine with it. My wife, she doesn't pay for any of the streaming services, and she was lamenting right before we got on. She was like, "Oh, I love The Good Fight, but Paramount Plus, you got to watch ads. Like no other streaming service has that." And I'm like, "Yeah, it does. You gotta pay to get rid of them." It's like, 'cause that's the whole point of the streaming service, right? Like, to not have ads. Like, well, you got to pay double to not have ads. And she was just like, "Oh, well, never mind then. I'll watch the commercials," because she's like, "No, don't pay anymore. $100 a year is not worth it to watch The Good Fight for 2 months."
I love that's the only thing. I love that's the only thing that you that she watches on there. But don't worry. Last I heard, they're planning on merging with Showtime.
If they merge with Showtime, I will be ecstatic.
Will you pay the extra to get no commercials?
If they're smart, they'll say, "Hey, you have to pay the extra to get Showtime, and then by the way, there won't be any commercials." And if I can get Showtime, then yeah, I'll pay the extra.
What's on Showtime that you want to watch? Old episodes of Dexter.
You know what? I would watch old episodes of Dexter up to. I would watch season 1, season 2, season 4, season 4, and season 4.
Yep, that's it. When the Trinity Killer died, that was enough.
I would watch the last season just to see what happens.
You could watch that new one. I heard that was a thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
the one that picks up after he goes to like the mountains or whatever.
Right, but then it like retroactively changes shit just because they were like, yeah, we might not have wanted him to like kill his sister and all that other shit.
Yeah, did they retroactively change the fact that like he was banging his sister?
Yeah, that was a bit weird, man. Like, it's a bit weird. Like in real life, like they had a relationship in real life. I always thought Michael C. Hall would have been a very good Daredevil back in the day. Like the early parts of Dexter. Yeah, he was a redhead. Like, yeah, he could have pulled it off. Like, it would have totally worked. But then,
that's all you really need is just to look the part.
Yeah, you don't need to be an actor. But like that guy actually is a pretty decent actor. I mean, he played a fucking psychopath anyway. The difference between him and Daredevil is like, I don't think Daredevil straight up murders people. Like that's the only difference. Beat you into an inch into your like within an inch of your life, but not like kill you. That was the only difference between him and Dexter. Next up, Marvel delays several of their movies. Shift around a couple of dates here. For you nerds, as a part of the shuffle, Blade has moved from November 3rd, 2023 to September 6th of 2024. Deadpool has relocated to September 6th, 2024. Has gone from September 6th, 2024 to November 8th of 2024. Fantastic Four has shifted from November 2024 to February of 2025. Yeah, I mean that's not much of a wait. Like that's pretty short.
Yeah, it's he'll definitely be 6 by then. So yeah, hopefully he will be way more mature, and I can take him to a movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on too. An untitled Marvel film has been pushed from February 2025 to November 2025. Avengers Secret Wars has been delayed from November of 2025 to May of 2026. That's a big move. And another untitled Marvel film set May 2026 has been removed from the Disney calendar. Yeah, my guess is they're not sure what that's going to be. And then there's a bunch of other things moving around. Look, all of that being said, the only thing I care about, this untitled Marvel film has been pushed from February 25th to November 2025. We didn't talk about this in the She-Hulk episode, but Scar is now in the universe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, here's my son.
Yeah. I think that one is the Young Avengers. I think that's what this untitled Marvel movie is. These untitled ones are just because we don't know what's happening in the universe and they don't want to give that away.
Yeah.
I think that's what that is. So I wouldn't be surprised. Now it could be something else too. It could be Midnight Suns, right? Like that would be 2 years after, or a year after Blade gets going. So like it could also be that. But I think those two untitled movies are likely team up movies that they're just not giving you enough information about. Then again, it could be fucking damn near anything else. Who knows?
Who knows?
So there you go. I mean, none of it's really relevant because, right now Black Panther's up and then, that's going to eat up everything for a while until we move on to the next thing. But those things will be here before you know it. All right. What the fuck brought to you by JTD? From the Edit That Out podcast. Sorry, go
ahead. A man who has never been on a date tries to find love with a billboard ad.
Okay.
A 23-year-old who has never been on a date in his life is trying to find a girlfriend by
Japan.
That is incorrect. Is trying to find a girlfriend by That is incorrect. By advertising himself on a large highway side billboard near his home city. Ed Chapman claims to have spent his teenage years and his early 20s trying to find a girlfriend using more conventional means like socializing and using dating apps, but with no success. So the 23-year-old man from Leeds in the UK decided that it was desperate times call for desperate measures. He put up some serious money and spent a large advertising banner next to the M621 motorway that goes from Leeds to and crosses his fingers. He has already had more success with it than he did his entire life, as he claims he has been overwhelmed by a number of messages from potential girlfriends. Don't date this dude. This dude is a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not something that a normal person does. This is something that a psycho does. This is something that someone who is obsessive and controlling does. Life is not Love Actually, and Love Actually was real fucked up. So the infamous scene in Love Actually, that dude is trying to fuck his friend's wife. Like that is,
no, that's not true. He just wanted to let her know that he wanted to fuck her, but now he sees that it's wrong. And that dude should have had his hand cut off in The Walking Dead. That's for retribution. Yo, he tried to fuck Baron Mordo's wife, dude. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
Yo, this is not. If you couldn't find someone through, I can understand not like finding someone through like your job, or you don't like to go out to clubs and shit, right? Like that's me, right?
Right.
If you can't find someone using dating apps in this day and age, it might be you. No, you might be the problem.
No, it's not might. It is you. Like it's 100% you. Like it is. It's 100% you. Look, knock it off. There are literally apps where people are just like they're just on there to bang. Like they're not even there to date. They're just on there to bang. Like that's it. That's it. Again,
this man,
you guys live in a different era than we did.
This man does look decidedly English. He's got a very Weasley-like look to him,
like Ron Weasley, or like an actual weasel,
like Ron Weasley.
Oh, this guy looks like if Tom Holland didn't make it. Like the picture, like the actual, like. Nah, this is not cool. Does Andy know him? This looks like something going on in Andy's town.
Quote, I received my first message on the same day the billboard went live, and since then I've had a few messages from women between the ages of 18 and 48. It's quite a mix. It's really exciting and a sign there's something positive to come. Billboards have been used by others to find love. A fellow Englishman struggling with dating apps. It's not that hard.
You found
did it last year, and she found me. Thank you very much. A mysterious Mormon millionaire made headlines with the same tactic in 2019, and a single entrepreneur advertised himself in the same way back in 2013. Mormon millionaire, single entrepreneur.
Right, these guys have money.
These are not people that you want to get into a relationship with, yo. They are not people you want to get into a relationship.
You're a Mormon millionaire. Why don't you use one of those like rich people hookup like companies, right? Where they hook you up with Melania, right? They bring her over on a Einstein visa. She can't even spell Einstein. Yeah, and then like they're forced to like marry some rich despot. Like, That's what they do.
Yeah, like you're a millionaire. You can't get on 90 Day Fiance. You know what I mean? You can't get on
Dumb
that.
people ain't rich. Dumb people ain't rich, dude. Nah, they're not. That is
That's what I'm saying.
Those people are losers. Losers, dude. Coming to fucking HBO Max soon. Oh my god.
So yeah, this is not the way to go about it, dude. Like, just keep plugging away on dating sites. If anything, if you're just trying to like have sex, you can find somebody on a dating site. And if you are trying to find love on a dating site, stop using free dating sites, because I guarantee that's what you're doing. No,
yeah,
dude,
that's a mistake. Yeah, that's a mistake.
People who are serious about wanting to get into relationships on dating sites are paying to use those dating sites to find people, like-minded people. Like,
yeah, you can't use like kettle of fish or whatever. You can't use.
Yeah, you can't use plenty of fish. I used plenty of fish, and that was fun for a while. But like, I'm not that type of dude, so I got on Match, and bam, I got married. So
yeah, same day.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, it was a whirlwind.
She was like, him, let's go. She had the suit picked out. She was like, can you fit a 40 long? He was like, I'll be there. Or whatever suits are. I don't know.
It's more of a 44 long, but you know, I'm a fat ass.
I think I'm a 40 short. I don't know. I'm not. Relax. That's like Kevin Hart. It's like a kid's 25 short. Yeah, that's wild, man. Like, don't put up a billboard. Like, that's just sad. That's just
it's
real
weird,
sad.
man.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's sad. Not when that doesn't make you look, adorable. Cool. It makes you look like a creep.
Yep, 100%. My story: YouTuber becomes the world's blackest man with the blackest commercially available paint. Look, I would be upset by this, but this is fucking hilarious. The guy used something called Musu Black, a special type of paint developed and sold in Japan.
Japan.
Yeah, I think he actually is in Japan. I don't know where he is. No, he's in Japan. And sold by Kyo Orient Japan. The pictures are awesome.
Yo, he's darker than his shadow.
He is. He's quite literally darker than his shadow. So the title of the blackest paint belongs to Vanta Black, an incredibly black coating capable of absorbing 99.965% of visible light. It makes everything look like a black hole, but it is obscenely expensive and currently unavailable on the open market. While this other one, Musu Black, on the other hand, absorbs 99.4% of visible light, making it the world's second blackest paint, and is available on Amazon for $17 per 100 milliliter. Holy shit, dude, that's really expensive.
God damn.
So it is the ideal choice for someone who is becoming a walking shadow or the blackest man on earth. Like, it's so black that he's smiling and you really can't see his teeth. Like, because of the shadow that it is creating, because he's painted his whole body.
It's so black it looks like someone cropped him out and didn't fill in the rest of the hole.
Yeah, it quite literally looks like that. That's wild, actually. Like again, this is not blackface. This is just insanity. Like, this is actually just so, it's nuts. Wow.
Yeah, this is weird, dude. Like, it's quite a striking like visual. Like, yeah. I'm looking at this video to see if he's like, I need to see it in motion. You know what I mean?
I don't think that video is what that's about. Like, it's some other shit that he does. Oh no, it is. No, never mind. No, that is him. And he goes and stands in a dark room and like you can't fucking see his ass.
Jesus.
And he's standing right next to someone and they can't see him in this black room. Yo, that's wild, man. That's a wild feat. Like, I I kind of respect the insanity of it. So, yeah, like, don't put that on your face, though. Like, and make fun of it. Like, I don't like that shit.
I mean, they don't know what blackface is.
No, they're not very
so
good about
don't
that.
do it.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Oh my God, that's really funny though. Like that, like you're right. It's a very striking image of someone who literally is darker than their shadow. Like that's fucking crazy. Wow. Trailers this week. The first trailer up is Blockbuster. This is the Randall Park movie. It's done by the same people who do that show Superstore. About the sort of the last Best Buy in the country. You know, ironically, this is Blockbuster. Ironically, this is being done by Netflix. I think it looks fine. It looks kind of cute. I mean, it looks like a kind of a fun Friday night throwaway movie to me.
Is this a movie or a TV show?
I thought it was a movie.
It is a TV show. Blockbuster Season 1 starring Randall Park and Melissa Fumero premieres November 3rd, only on Netflix. Because it is a TV show, I will not watch it.
Yeah, I needed this to just be a movie. I
don't need this to I don't need this to be a television show. I like Randall Park a lot. I think that dude's very funny.
Yeah.
But I don't need this to be a series. No.
I like it. No, thank you. I'm good. I thought it was a movie. Like I'm immediately turned off at the fact that it's a television show. I'm not dedicating that kind of time. Next up is the very, very much red band trailer for Gangs of London season 2. Yeah, if you've never watched Gangs of London, the first season, you should. It's very good. It's I would put it up there with some pretty good prestige television. Look, if you don't like blood or violence, don't recommend watching this trailer. This might be the most violent shit I've seen in a while. People are getting strangled. People are getting shot at quite literally point blank range in the mouth and slowed down.
Not even point blank. Like it is in the point. Like
yeah, it's in his mouth when he shoots the guy. And you watch the guy die like in real time. I was like, good Lord, that is really unnecessary violence. Can't wait to watch it. Looks great. Look, this is basically the premise of the show is that, wow, that guy's eye was really gross.
They're taking a guy's hand and they're fucking ripping it in half.
Yeah, I know. I didn't need that. I didn't need to see that ever. Like, we got it. You're a gang. Good Lord. But like the idea of the show is, they are a gang. It's the violence is crazy. Like they're a gang in London. They're family. Like there's a couple families who kind of run London, and at least in the first episode or first season, and you know other people try to come in and like take their shit. And it's like the father dies, and so everything is kind of left to the son. And this one black dude starts to kind of work for the son. He's the main character. The black dude is. But it turns out that guy's he's an undercover cop. Yeah, he's trying to infiltrate and take this gang down. But the problem is, like, in order to be in the gang, like, you got to do gang shit. Man. And he has to kill like a lot of people. And even he says in the trailer, like, I'm tired of killing people for them. It's like, that's cool, but like, you want to stay in the gang? Because if they find out you're a cop, they're going to kill you. So he has to do a lot of murdering. And the violence and like the setups for the fights and stuff are always pretty great. Like they're over the top. But this is like a Guy Ritchie film on fucking steroids.
So I watched the first few episodes because like the father is that dude from Star Trek, right? Like I know he's been in a bunch of other things, right? But he's the Scottish dude from The Next Generation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I remember watching it, I remember liking it. I just don't remember why I fell off of it. I'll have to give it another shot. I'm gonna
rewatch the first season just because it's been such a long time. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. And look, man, if you like good like adult violence and like a good adult storytelling, Gangs of London is for you. But it ain't for the faint of heart, man.
If you enjoy going on YouTube and watching compilations of Mortal Kombat fatalities, then Gangs of London is for you.
Yeah, pretty much. And this season looks way worse, man. God damn.
Yeah, I don't remember the first season having this type of violence. I don't remember the first season being very violent, but like believable violence, right? Like just like raw and visceral. Like this is like artsy like violence, right? Like this is like let's make this is like Mortal Kombat 11 violence, right? Where it's just like super elaborate and shit.
Yeah. There's a great sniper scene in the first season that was pretty violent. Yeah, a lot of people get stabbed, man. A lot of people get stabbed. So cool. I'm here for it. This looks great. And it's some very, very good acting in this too. So yeah, check out Gangs of London if you haven't watched it. You can watch the first season. And what is this on AMC Plus? I think it is.
I know AMC Plus had the first season. I don't know who's getting the second season.
Yeah, it's because it's from like the Sky Network in Britain. I'll have to look it up. Like where to watch. I think you can watch it. I think you can watch. Oh, wait. Can you watch Gangs of London on HBO Max?
Oh, you can?
That's what this link said. Let's find out. See if they're lying. You better not be fucking lying, because then I'll just watch it there.
The second season? Like, you might have the first season, but not the second season.
Yeah. I think it's... Man, they lied. Gangs of London is not on HBO Max. Fucking dickheads. All right, I'll try to find out. But, all right, next up, M3GAN. You want to talk about this one? It's my favorite trailer of the year, man.
Yo, M3GAN is... it's also really weird because that's my sister's name, but she spells it the way Black people spell it.
This about
M3GAN
is everybody knows that.
Yeah. Sometimes. M3GAN is the new movie from James Wan, I believe, is the person directing this.
Oh my god.
Let me hold on. Sorry, I'm not prepared. I will read the tagline here. It's directed by Gerald Johnstone, but it's produced by Jason Blum and James Wan, the Annabelle people.
Oh, okay.
The premise is Gemma, played by Allison Williams, is a brilliant roboticist at a toy company, and she uses artificial intelligence to develop M3GAN, M3GAN, in leet speak. Model 3 generative android. That's what M3GAN stands for. A lifelike doll programmed to be a child's greatest companion and a parent's greatest ally. After unexpectedly gaining custody of her orphaned niece, Katie, Gemma enlists the help of a M3GAN prototype, a decision that has horrific consequences. Basically, this is if you are old like us, this is kind of like Small Wonder
gone awry.
Yeah, like Small Wonder to like Natural Conclusion, I would like to say. And it's this doll befriends this girl to the point where this doll is like this girl's T800.
Yeah.
This looks silly as shit.
It does, dude. It looks super silly.
Like if this were to come on like Peacock or something, yeah, I'd watch it. Because this looks so fucking goofy. Especially because like at the end of the trailer, like the android is fucking dancing, but like it's doing like this dumb dancing where like the head is still like motionless and expressionless, but it's doing like this this very elaborate dancing.
Like, what is going on? Dude, come on, man. I don't know who is playing M3GAN, right? Like it's clear that it's being played by an actual person, and they're either wearing a mask or something, or CGIing it. A wonderful performance. It's like wonderful performance, man. The way that dancing sequence is like.
So there's a body for M3GAN, and there's a voice for M3GAN, and Amy Donald plays M3GAN, the body. Jenna Davis is the voice of M3GAN. Yo, this shit looks so fucking goofy, man. Like, like it feels like there was a I can't stop watching. She
starts galloping at that kid. Dude, I lost it. Holy shit. You should run. Start running at him. Holy shit. That was awesome.
Like, I don't think this is giving the vibe that these people intended. Right?
No,
like this shit is hilarious, yo. Like, this is not scary to me. This is just like girl Chucky. Right? Like,
this looks so silly, dude. Oh my god. I kind of want to see this in a crowded theater because I feel like
this is gonna be a real good time, man.
This is gonna be a real good time. Yeah, this is like, this movie will completely suffer because there's not enough people in the theater. Right? This is a movie you want to see with a crowd. Frankly, a black crowd. As far as I'm concerned, you want to see this with black horror fans. Because this shit looks hilarious. And when she starts galloping at that dude, I fucking lost it. Oh my god. But the dancing is just so funny to me.
Look at the dancing at the end of the trailer is just fucking amazing to me. Oh shit.
Yeah. M3GAN, I'm all in. When this comes to a streaming service, I will 100% watch it. I love it. Last but certainly not least is the trailer for Is That Black Enough for You? This is a documentary coming to Netflix that is just about sort of black people's impact on the movie industry. So of course we're going to talk about it. Look, I think this looks great. There's some very cool films in there, and just scenes from amazing performances and black actors talking about sort of their influences and things like that they were into even when they were kids. So yeah, I think this looks great.
Yeah, this looks amazing, man. I have no doubt that this is going to be super interesting, and I'm looking at reviews, and reviews are just kind of, the first couple that I see are just kind of all over the place. But yeah, I don't give a shit. This is right up my. This is it. Like, this is why we do that other show.
That's right.
Like, because of this stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I don't know when it's releasing, but it will be on Netflix. So, you know, if you're interested, just search for it and set your reminders. Yeah, I don't know when it's coming out, but yo, this looks really good.
Yeah, let me look at the Netflix one because they normally have the date at the end. Come on.
And yeah, like it goes from different eras, and
November 11th.
November 11th. Okay, that is not coincidental at all.
So
hey, let's put this black ass documentary out when Black Panther comes out.
Yeah, no, they're not done. They're not done. No. Like, are you amped? I'm sure there's a moment about Black Panther in that movie. I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Oh, I would be. Yeah, I would absolutely be shocked if it wasn't.
So, all right. So there you go. Any parting words before we get out of here?
Not at all.
All right, guys. We will see you guys next week for another episode.
See ya.